Hello guys, it's Miss Garcia. Welcome to Math City with Miss G. In this video, we are going to talk about solving proportions with quadratics. Let's review real quick what proportion is. Proportion is an equation in which two ratios are set equal to each other. Let us consider the example below. So if I am going to group this left side as one group and the right side as one group, then I can say that there is one pink circle for every two green circles. So 1 out of 3 circle is pink. On the right side, I can say 2 pink circles out of 6 circles altogether. So 2 over 6 can be simplified into the common factor is 2. So I can divide the numerator and denominator by 2. And so this will give me 1 over 3. So therefore, we can say that 1/3 is equal to 2 over 6. Then therefore, the ratios are the same. So this is what we call proportion. Let's use this concept in quadratics. Proportion involving quadratics. So given this equation, we are going to apply cross multiplication or butterfly method. So I am going to multiply h minus 6 times h plus 8 and multiply 2 times negative 20, and that's going to go on the other side of the equation. Let's distribute, right? So h times h is h squared, and negative 6 times n, h is negative 6h. H times 8 is positive 8h. And then if we are to add these two together, that is going to give us positive 2h. And then we are going to multiply the last terms, negative 6 times 8, that is equal to negative 48. And I'm going to write that on my equation, equals, and then I simplify negative, I made a mistake, apologies. So this is 2 times negative 20, which is equal to negative 40. So now that I have this equation, I am going to bring all the everything on one side of the equation, and in this case, I'm going to bring over negative 40 over to the other side to make the equation equal to 0. So we can't move on and solve the equation unless it's equal to 0. So this is what I want, the equation be equal to 0. So h squared plus 2h, combining negative 48 plus 40, that gives me negative 8. And so I am going to use a t-table. This is c value and this is b value. My c is negative 8, b is 2. So I'm thinking of factors of negative 8. So that should be 4 times negative 2. And if I add 4 plus negative 2, that is going to give me positive 2. So it checks the box. And so I will be using these two factors. So h plus 2, plus 4, and then h minus 2. So I'm using the numbers that I found right here. So a positive 4 and a negative 2. And then we don't forget that is going to be equal to 0. We're going to then isolate the variable. So h plus 4 is equal to 0 and h minus 2 is equal to 0. Inverse operation, so negative 4 on both sides, so h is equal to negative 4. And then inverse of negative 2 is positive 2. So adding 2 on both sides, that will give us h is equal to positive 2. So the value of the missing variable are negative 4, and 2. Okay, let us try another problem. Okay, so we are going to apply the same thing, cross multiplication or butterfly method. I'll do x minus 5 times x plus 3, and then on the other side of the equation is 4 times negative 3. Okay, so let's multiply. So x times x would give me x squared, and then negative 5 times x is negative 5x. X times 3 is positive 3x. Adding these two together, it will always be addition because we're combining like terms. That will give us negative 2x. Multiply the last terms. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. So that's negative 15. And multiply 4 times negative 3, that's negative 12. Okay, so in this case, the equation is equal to a number. We need to make it equal to 0 so we can solve and isolate the variable. So we're going to do inverse of negative 12, that's positive 12. So add 12 on both sides. And so we will have x squared minus 2x minus 3. So I am going to use the t table, c and b. My c value is negative 3, the constant of the equation, and the b value is the number beside the variable with exponent 1, so that's negative 2. So the factors of negative 3 are negative 3 times 1. We could also do 3 times negative 1. We're going to select which one would give us a negative 2 when added together. So negative 3 plus 1, that gives us negative 2. So it gives us the b value, and when multiplied together, it gives us our c value. So this is what we're looking for. So let's set up our equation, write it in the factored form. So that would be x times x, which is x squared, and then we found negative 3 and then a positive 1. So isolating the variable, we will have x minus 3 equals 0 and x plus 1 equals 0. The inverse of negative 3 is positive 3, so we're adding 3 on both sides, so this will give us x equals 3. And then inverse of positive 1 is negative 1. So final answer is x equals negative 1. So the values of x, the variable in this case, are 3 and negative 1. Let's try another problem. Okay, so we're going to multiply these two together, and so that would be, I'm going to take the negative sign with the 2. So there's a negative sign here. I'm going to bring it over in the denominator. So I'll do negative 2 times 3x minus 8. And then I will multiply x times x. So x times x. And the reason why I brought the negative sign down below, it is because I need my coefficient, my leading coefficient, which has the highest exponent, to be positive. So this will give me a positive x squared, which I want. We want the coefficient, the leading coefficient, to be positive. And so we'll distribute negative 2, and that's going to be negative 6x. And then that would be positive 16, making the equation equal to 0. So I am going to move everything of this equation over to the right side. So plus 6x. To cancel this on this side, and then inverse of positive 16 is negative 16. And so I am left with 0 on the right side. So on the left side. So I have now x squared plus 6x minus 16. So there is nothing to combine because none of these, they are all unlike terms. Now we are going to simplify. We'll have, we'll use t-table to factor. So this is c and b. C is negative 16 and b is 6. So I am thinking of factors of negative 16. So that should be 8, positive 8 times negative 2. And positive 8 times negative 2 gives me negative 16. When I add 8 plus negative 2, that gives me positive 6. So this is the factors that I am looking for. So let us set up our equation, our factored form. X times x is x squared, and then using the factors we found, have positive 8 and negative 2. Isolating the variables by itself, so we will have x plus 8 equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0, and do the inverse of positive is negative 8. So the final answer is negative 8 and positive 2. So x equals positive 2. So the value of the variables are, variable x is negative 8 and positive 2. I hope you find value in this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.